Are you struggling to save money because of a low income? I know it can be tough, but it can be done. And I'm going to tell you how in this video. So how can you save money if you have a low income, a low salary? Well, here are a few points. Number one is budget. One thing that helped me get out of debt, $200,000 in debt, and become a millionaire, even with a low income initially, was that I budgeted. Number one, I used Mint to track all of my finances every single day. I logged into Mint. I logged into Mint and my bank account every single day. Why? Because I wanted to know where my money was going. I created a budget of different categories of spending, how much I was eating out, how much I was spending at the grocery store, how much I paid for gas, what my rent or my mortgage was, every single category. I had a budget for and I tracked it very religiously. Every single morning, I logged in to see how I was doing for the month. And secondly, every Sunday night, my wife and I got together and reviewed our budget for the week, how we did, what we spent, what we saved, and where each dollar went. As Dave Ramsey likes to say, each dollar should have a place to go, otherwise it's going to disappear. So number one is start with a budget and use Mint and your bank account to track where all of the money goes. Second most important thing is to always pay yourself first. This is really important if you're an entrepreneur, if you have a business, but also if you don't. The money that you spend, the money you get, it is spent immediately. And then at the end of the month, what most people do is if they have any money left over, then they will invest that or they'll save it or they'll put it toward debt. But usually there's not much left over because we tend to spend up to the maximum amount. We spend what we make. So if you pay yourself first, that guarantees that you're placing yourself first and your priorities first. And then at the end of the month, if you don't have enough money left over to buy things, then that's okay. You're kind of forced to budget. You're forced to cut back on certain things and you've paid yourself first. If you're getting out of debt, then use that money to pay down your debts first. Decide how much money you want to allocate every month to pay down your debt. Whether it's $10, $100, $200, whatever it is, decide on that amount and pay that at the very beginning. When you get your paycheck, the first thing you should do is set that money aside to pay down your debt or to put it into a savings or investment account to make sure that it gets paid, because that is your number one priority. So most people's expenses, they spend the most amount of money on housing, food, car, and paying off debt. So if you can get those down, then you can still buy your $5 latte or your hot chocolate or whatever you want, because that doesn't make as big of a difference. Get your housing down, sell your car if you have an expensive car and you can get into a cheaper car. Take public transportation, carpool, whatever you can. Get your transportation expenses down. Move in with your parents, get some roommates, get your housing expenses down. Americans spend a lot of money eating out, and every year that amount goes up and up and up. Even if our incomes aren't keeping pace, people are still going out. They're ordering food. They're ordering Uber Eats because people are lazy. They don't want to cook. But if you cut eating out and meal plan every week, then that will save you a lot of money. I mentioned the Saturday night or Sunday night meetings that I have with my wife when we were getting out of debt. And I would do the budget and the finances, and she would meal plan. She planned out everything that we were going to, all the meals that she was going to make during the week and what needed to be bought. Then when she went to the store, she did not impulse buy. She just bought exactly what was on the list, and that saved us hundreds of dollars a month just from impulse buying. There's a reason why when you go to the store, especially Costco, that they have all those things at the checkout. They've got the end caps. You can't go into Costco. You can't leave Costco without spending $500, it seems like. They strategically place things in your path so you will impulse buy. That's why Costco prices a lot of things at $19.95. They move things around the store. They want you to wander around. And why? Because they want you to impulse buy. They know it works. Because most people don't go into the store with a list of exactly what they're going to buy and buy only that, and then they end up spending more. Consider buying with cash. People spend less when they're buying with cash versus paying with a credit card or a debit card. So another way to cut down your spending. So budgeting and spending, paying yourself first, and don't try not to spend. Look for alternatives. You don't need an HBO Max, Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus subscription. You can get TV for free. So go to the library, check out books, check out videos, don't buy them at the store. Or use the 24-hour or the 30-day rule. If you want something, you go to the store, you see it, you see something online, you see an advertisement, wait 24 hours until you buy it. That will really help you avoid buying it. In fact, most of the time, if you wait 24 hours, you wake up the next day and you don't really want it anymore. That impulse has gone, and you end up not buying it. Related to that is the 30-day rule. If you want a bigger purchase, wait 30 days before you buy it. And that really will determine if you really need it. Do you need a new TV? Wait 30 days and see if you really need that new TV. So I mentioned food, cutting down on food costs, meal planning, not impulse shopping. There are also a couple of other ways to cut that down. Is you can buy in bulk at Sam's Club and Costco, but also the local grocery store. I saw this just today, actually. My local grocery store is having a sale on canned goods. This happens every couple of months. They just need to get rid of inventory, and they're just selling them, and that goes fast. So you go down there and you just stock up on whatever you need. And it's also healthier and cheaper to not eat out, to cook at home. Food at restaurants is large portions, and then they charge a lot. The Cheesecake Factory is infamous for this. You get a lot of food that you could never eat, but you're paying twice as much for a regular meal, and most of that goes to waste. And so people end up spending a lot of money on food. And then automate your savings and investing as much as you can. I mentioned that at the beginning that one of the things you can do is pay yourself first, which is probably one of the best things you can do. And one easy way to do that is automate it, so your bank account will transfer that money on the day you get paid. Let's say you get paid on the 1st, have your bank account on that same day or the day after automatically transfer money to your savings account or to your investment account. That happens automatically. You don't have to think about it, which means it takes that mental energy away, where you don't have to think at the beginning of every month, should I do this? Can I afford it? It just happens automatically, and then you just learn to live on less. And then as time goes on, you can adjust that. So the first month, maybe every paycheck, you're transferring $50 to your savings account. After a couple of months, then you change it to $100. You get used to living without that $100. You change it to $150. That's how I went from putting away 10% of my income to putting away 75% of my income. I just slowly ratcheted it up. And then every time I got a raise, I started with a pretty low income. Every time I got a raise, instead of spending more, I took that extra amount and added it to my automatic transfer, and that extra amount would just automatically transfer into my savings account, savings and investment account. At the end of the day, if you want to get out of debt, if you want to save money, if you want to build real wealth, you've got to change your lifestyle. A couple of years ago, I was talking with a friend of mine, and he was heavily in debt to the IRS, to the tune of a couple of $100,000, and he was really stressed out about it. His wife was stressed out about it, and he had lived in the same house for a long time, and I suggested, why don't you sell your house and downsize, sell some of your cars and downsize. And he said, well, I don't really want to change my lifestyle. My wife doesn't want to change her lifestyle. And just made it harder for him. I think he's doing okay, but it made it harder for him. And at the end of the day, a lot of people just don't want to change their lifestyle. And that's a choice that they make. But if you want to build real wealth, it takes sacrifice. And it's going to require that you change your lifestyle by investing more time, more energy, budgeting and planning and making these sacrifices. And in the end, it's going to pay off.